I clicked on a headline which said influencer sells farts, and I was like, okay. So
It wasn't you, was it, Baz?
no, I'd kill people with mine. I have just watched The Gentleman
Oh,
on the
yes.
TV series.
See, Baz, that sounds like a euphemism that you've been sat naked looking down in your lap.
Yes.
I spent all last night looking at The Gentleman. This has been written either by ChatGPT or a fucking idiot.
Where is it from? Sorry, Debenhams. Yes.
Debenhams.
Doesn't
They don't
exist
exist anymore, do they? So there's no point me saying it like that to get some fucking sponsorship. I might as well say fucking Rumbelows. Hello, and welcome to the Mildly Controversial Podcast. This week's episode, we're going to have a look back on a news story for each month of the year so far. So I've got loads of news stories, but I'm going to pick the best one that I think is there, because we'll go through more of them at the end of the year when we do the full review of the year. So my favourite news story, Baz, from January is mum compares school to prison after son got detention when she told him to refuse to go to detention for an untucked shirt. So, a mum has lashed out at her son's school after he was given detention for a minor clothing mishap. Karen Taylor's... She's called Karen, Baz.
Mad.
No one saw that coming.
Give us a country and context and everything.
Oh, it's UK.
Okay, perfect.
Karen Taylor's son, Logan, 14, was kept back after school because he had his shirt half tucked in and his top button undone at the Romsey School in Hampshire.
Right.
After the initial 20-minute detention sentence, I'm not sure it's a sentence, but Ms. Taylor told her son not to attend, and the punishment was up to a 40-minute detention. Then 1 hour, so Ms. Taylor contacted the school. After the punishment increased again, Ms. Taylor pulled him out of school and has now called for the teachers to respect our children's rights after he was put in internal exclusion for his unkempt uniform. He wasn't put in exclusion for his unkempt uniform. He was put in exclusion for not going to all these fucking detentions.
Yes.
And there's no way, if he's got half-tucked shirt and not buttoned collar, they've gone, right, straight into detention.
Yeah.
They've definitely gone, tuck your shirt in and do your top button. He's gone, nah.
Yeah.
All right, detention, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like I've started to judge this partway through, Baz.
I'm with you on this, by the way.
Okay, so she said he hasn't had uniform problems before. The school looks like a prison at the moment. They say the policy is on their website. The teachers are like bullies. That woman's just spouting sentences.
Yeah,
None of them made any sense or had any thread. Or
I'll wait to pass my judgment at the end.
Yeah,
of this.
exactly. I always make sure his shirt is tucked in every morning, but it gets untucked naturally with him moving around school. I want him to be at school. I'm fretting over it. Okay. I want him to be at school, says the woman who pulled her son out of school. I'm getting mixed messages here, Baz.
Yep.
Logan has been getting migraines about it. I don't agree with what the school is doing. The school's not doing anything, love.
Yep.
You're doing it. Since pulling Logan out of school, Ms. Taylor has set up a petition on change.org to, in quotes, reform unfair school uniform policy and detention practices. She said these detentions are communicated to parents via email with no prior warning given to the students themselves. The severity of these punishments does not match the triviality of the infractions. Ms. Taylor has claimed that at least 20 pupils had been punished for issues with school uniform. Head teacher Annie Eagle responded to Ms. Taylor's concerns and said, students are encouraged to make great choices. If a student does not make good choices, we work closely with them and their family to ensure that they understand, as you would expect, that there will inevitably be a consequence in line with published school policy. The school's website reads, we value our smart uniform and it ensures that all of our pupils feel an equal part of our school community. Wearing a uniform teaches you to be smart and ensures that you are ready to approach your learning with a professional mindset. Pupils are therefore expected to wear the official school uniform for the full 5 years that you attend school. It should be worn correctly both in school and on the journey to and from school. Right? So this woman has basically a kid... Reading between the lines, a kid has been told to tuck his shirt in, undo his top button, and he's said no. So he's been given a detention, and he's not gone to that detention because his mum said, don't go to that detention.
Yeah.
So he's got another one. So his mum said, don't go to that one, and she keeps saying it until it got up to such a big number, she went, right, fuck it, I'm taking him out of the school. And then she's blaming the school for taking him out of the school when it was her who brought him out of school.
Yeah, and she wants the kid to be at school.
Yes, she desperately wants the kid to be at school. And she's pretty much crying victim on this. But I'll take you through a few of the comments, Baz.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's got the support that she was looking for.
Well, she's certainly not from you and I.
Certainly not from you and I, but also from the comments section.
Yeah.
First one is by someone called Lee, who says, typical of the entitled society where rules don't apply to my little boy.
Yeah.
If you don't like the rules, feel free to find another school for your son. Anthony says, if you don't go to a detention, there's a comeback. Whoever would have thought? Somebody who's put their name as seriously, ? So the mother thinks that tucking a shirt back in is too difficult for a 14-year-old. Something tells me he'll get a taste of an actual prison before too long.
That was my first thought. You know, like, oh yeah, like I make sure he goes to school with his shirt tucked in, but it comes untied. We'll teach the little fucker to put it back in again. It's not difficult.
And like I say, nobody. Well, I mean, I may be wrong, but I'm almost certain that a teacher hasn't seen him and gone, right, your shirt's untucked and your top button's undone. Detention.
Yes.
It would have been tuck yourself in and do your top button up.
Look, I was a school uniform rebel. I think we've discussed this in previous episodes of the fact that I bleached my hair bright white once when I went to school, and they said you can't have that. So I went home and I shaved it off so I had a bald head, which they also didn't like, which was quite difficult. But the bald head was like within the rules, so no detention, and also you're not allowed to roll your trousers up to reveal your Doc Marten boots. So I cut them off. Both of those are completely admissible. You know, I'm allowed to do that and so just work within the rules. That's all you got to do.
I like that. Rule bending experts of the 1940s. Baz right.
But also, it's that thing, isn't it? It's like rules are there for a reason. And did you say how many people had been brought up on school uniform?
20 in that school.
And I should imagine it's a year of 500 plus students, right?
Yeah, I mean, there'll be 1,000 kids in that school and 20 have been done for it.
So a very small, like a very small number of rebels. Yep. And you're always going to get them.
Yep.
Those rules are there is to keep the majority of people in line, and it's not difficult. You can work within it. No. And obviously, the word entitlement came up earlier, and it's a much more modern term than you and I had at school, because like it would you're basically a bit of a dick. But like there is that thing, isn't there, where some parents are like, oh, I'm going to push the envelope here, and I'm going to stand up for my children's right without being a complete cunt. And but the fact she puts "ms" in her title says a lot about Karen.
Well, I mean, who knew that the mum of that child who pulled her kid out of school and then blamed the school for pulling the kid out of school, who knew she would be called Karen? Anyway, I don't think she got the support she was looking for from the comments section. Anyway, so
look, I'm all for sort of like like expressing yourself, but like tucking a shirt in is not fucking being a rebel. It's just it's just you going, oh, I'm going to be a dick.
And do you know what? I'm not a massive one for like, oh, you got to do the school uniform thing and all that kind of shit, but school is not just about educating your kids. It's about getting them ready for the real world.
Yep.
If that kid gets a job and looks scruffy, he's not going to have a job for long.
No.
Especially if he sees his ass when somebody tells him to look smarter.
Yeah.
So, no. Karen, you're a dick.
I love that comment. It's like a prison. Well, yeah, but the other like 980 students there all completely get along with wearing their clothes in the prescribed manner.
They're not called students, Baz. They're called inmates.
Yes, Karen, they're inmates. You fucking bitch.
Right. Next one. This is a very quick one, Baz. There's loads of clickbait headlines at the moment, like retailer with 650 stores closing stores next week.
Yes.
And you look into it and it's like, yeah, they're closing one in Barnet because they've built a bigger one down the road, and they're closing one in Bolton because it was falling down. Do you know what I mean? Well, here's another one. It just lazy journalism, and I say journalism in its loosest sense.
Yes.
Where they've just gone on the internet and found people moaning about something and used it as a story. Anyway, Walkers discontinue, quotes, their best ever crisps after gutted shoppers fumed, we can't find them anywhere.
Go on, what flavour is it?
That's the headline.
Yeah, go on.
A number of other Walkers fans' favourites have shockingly been discontinued by the brand.
Yes.
So, a shopper has been left devastated by the news that snack food manufacturer Walkers has discontinued his favourite crisps.
Go on.
The customer has searched high and low for the product in supermarkets but kept coming up empty. He seized the opportunity to get answers from Walkers and replied to a post shared by the company to X, formerly Twitter. The user wrote, "What's happened to your tear and share packs? Can't find them anywhere." Walker's Crisps responded the following day, finally putting an end to his confusion. Tear and share were discontinued several years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
We're sorry to say.
Does it give an explanation of what tear and share are for the people that have never had?
So yeah, it's a big packet of crisps that when you don't open it at the top, you open it down the side.
Okay.
So that it was just a packaging innovation, really. It's
yes,
exactly the same flavour of crisps, but you opened the pack down the side so that you can then put it in the middle of the table and everybody.
Oh, I know the one. I've seen it. Yeah.
But I love that. And it was like, this guy's desperate. It's, they're the best crisps. Why can't I find them anymore? And Walkers just go, yeah, we discontinued them several years ago.
Yeah, you're that much of a user.
That much of a fan, you didn't notice that you hadn't actually had one of them in your hand for several years, you dick. It's a good job I'm not in charge of Walker's Twitter account, isn't it, Baz? Because that would have been the exact reply.
No, I think completely the opposite.
Anyway, so the shattered customer replied. The shattered customer said, "Thanks for your reply. That's why I can never source them. They were your best ever." I was like, they were your best ever? I've got an idea, mate. Get a pair of fucking scissors. Cut a normal pack down the side instead of opening it at the top. It's not like it's a flavour you can't get anymore. It's just a different way of opening a crisp packet, you dick.
And anyway. also, like, imagine if Tato's came on that fucking thing. They'd be like, fuck off. I couldn't point out the amount of times that I mentioned Tato's on the podcast. I'm desperate to get sponsored by them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm desperate for you to get sponsored so I don't have to buy you any for Christmas next year.
Can I just say, though, I'm a big fan of clickbait. It's just we mentioned earlier, lazy journalism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's scour the internet to find where one disgruntled, devastated person is moaning about,
and then write an entire story about a comment one person said on Twitter. No, I do like it. Do you know what? I don't object to being caught out by it. I'll quite often click on a headline and go, I want to know more about that, and then go down and go, you bastard, you got me again. This was one person, and you've made it sound like it was a massive thing.
Well, I got caught out by this today. Let me just read this, because this is not going to make it in the year. So I clicked on a headline which said, influencer sells farts. And I was like, okay. So my first
it wasn't
thing
you, was it, Baz?
No, I'd kill people with mine. So my first thing was, it was like, I'm slightly disgruntled by the use of the word influencer. Because you read these sometimes, there's influencer does. You go on there, 22,000 followers on Instagram, like, what the fuck? Who are you influencing?
Even I've got more than that.
And the point is, so have I. But the thing is, I influence.
But you've got way, way more than that.
Yeah, but I influence nobody. Do you know what I mean?
Certainly not positively.
Well, yeah, but even if I was going out, like literally, even the following I have, the word influencer means absolutely fuck all.
Nothing.
It's just ridiculous.
Nothing.
So the story goes, Cheng Wing Yi, 21, known as Kiara Kitty on Instagram, is now flogging her farts and promises fans they can be retained for up to 30 days after opening the jar. I'll end it there.
How heavy are her farts that they stay in a jar for over 30 days after opening it?
I mean, let's be clear on this. But the whole point of this is how ridiculous it's got now for clickbait. Because I went and read the whole story after just reading the headline.
And is it what it says it is, or is it just?
No. So Kiara, who has 234,000 followers on Instagram, more than me, which is fair enough. The sealed container comes complete with a love note from Kiara.
Well, do you know what? Some people lose the shit about oh, look at all these stupid influencers and a lot of those people doing this on the internet. Do you know what I say? Fair fucking play to her. If she's found people stupid enough to buy a jar of air, because she definitely isn't farting in these jars, by the way.
Yeah.
And promising that if you open the jar, the fart's going to stay in it for 30 days like a fucking pet.
Yes. It's that heavy. It just sort of wafts at the bottom of the jar.
Exactly.
You keep it in there.
That's it, yeah. Her farts are made of boron. But there you go.
Good science there,
everybody. There you go, dull people.
The
The dull people in the crowd will appreciate that joke. Boron being a gas heavier than air. Many thanks. I'll just have to double check that it is now.
No. 100% boron is the heaviest gas there is.
This is what Baz. This is why I'm good at quizzes, right?
Yeah.
Because I'll have heard that God knows when, and that's there. But the worrying thing is, and I think I might have mentioned this on the podcast before, the worrying thing is, I'm terrified that at some point I'm going to need to give CPR to a kid or something, and I've forgotten how to do it because the space in my brain's being taken up by things like borons or heavy gas.
Vinnie Jones sorted this out ages ago. It's just staying alive.
Staying alive, yes, that's very good.
And if you don't know who Vinnie Jones is, Americans, go and check out Deadpool 2. No, he wasn't that. He was X-Men, wasn't he?
I don't know, but he's in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, Layer Cake,
I was aiming
proper
at
films.
I was aiming at Americans. Oh, by the way, can I just say, I have just watched The Gentleman on the TV series.
See, Baz, that sounds like a euphemism that you've been sat naked looking down in your lap.
Yes.
I spent all last night looking at The Gentleman.
Good point.
Sorry,
no. I just realised what I was saying. Vinnie Jones, the ex-Wimbledon footballer, is in this. He's got a character in this. He absolutely nails it. It's
Brilliant.
The best performance I've seen by him.
I've heard
he proper acts in it as well. It's
I was
so
going to say,
good.
I've heard it's not his usual, just thick knucklehead stereotype character. There's actually a character that's being portrayed in this.
So good in it, and I would implore anybody to watch it. It's always a bit it's always a bit dodgy or a bit not unwise to take a film like The Gentleman and turn it into a series. Honestly, you gave. So can I just thank you for giving me Kin?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's the best thing ever. I want to give you The Gentleman in return. Right.
So, again, Baz, sounds like a euphemism, and I'll happily take it. I'll take your Gentleman, Baz.
So we went off piece there. What was that all about? Oh yeah, sorry, that was.
But as always, Baz, the bits where we go off piece are the best bits. This is why we usually do very little preparation for a podcast, because it's usually funnier when we don't.
Anyway, Vinnie Jones in something. Oh, I can't remember.
Right, I'm going to write The Gentleman down.
Yes.
In fact, I'm not going to write The Gentleman, but I'm just going to do a small drawing to represent
The Gentleman. And I'm going to say this to anybody who's listening as well. So Mike mentioned a TV program called Kin. On a previous podcast,
yes,
that he was watching it, and I mentioned go and watch these things because, we're clearly not experts, but those two things are legitimately really good recommendations.
Kin is phenomenal.
Oh, I'm loving it! It's the best thing ever.
Yeah. And having watched Kin, it's reinforced the fact that Emmett T. Scanlon looks really weird in what was the thing with Michelle Keegan called?
Oh, look, something. God, how bad is that? We did a whole program on it, didn't we?
Oh my god!
Did a whole episode on it.
Anyway, that was me chatting to you rather than for the podcast. All right. So yes, right, Baz. Next one.
Yes, sorry.
My favourite story for February is, unsurprisingly, Baz, relates to some entitled twat. Bride cancels wedding after guests refuse to pay £1,000 to attend the ceremony, wrecking her relationship.
This is not a new thing. Clearly, this has happened before. This is a bit of deja vu. Sorry.
Who the fuck demands £1,000 for people to come to their wedding? A bride-to-be has been broken up with by her. This is just dreadful, dreadfully written. A bride-to-be has been broken up with by her fiancé.
Yeah, dumb.
That's the first sentence to say this has been written either by ChatGPT or a fucking idiot.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll read it as it's written. A bride-to-be has been broken up with by her fiancé after she cancelled their wedding due to guests refusing to pay £1,000 each to attend.
Yeah.
The bride-to-be, named Susan, surprisingly not Karen, took to social media to explain her plan to marry her childhood sweetheart. But her lifelong dream took a turn. Took a term, it says. This is
it's a good turn,
so bad. But her lifelong dream took a turn when her friends and family refused to help pay. According to Susan, their wedding was expected to cost $60,000, around £35,000.
Yeah.
So in order to pay for the wedding, Susan requested that guests give them $1,500 as a gift, which is just under £900. Only a few of her friends and family obliged, so the wedding was called off as they couldn't afford it anymore. She wrote on Facebook, "Dear friends, it comes with great sadness that I am announcing the cancellation of the wedding. I apologise for cancelling only 4 days beforehand. Unfortunately, fiancé, in brackets, whatever his name is, and I have broken up due to some recent and irreparable problems. We have decided to end our relationship and not go forth with any future proceedings. I mean specifically, she's written this like this. I mean specifically, asked for cash gifts. How could we have our wedding that we dreamed of without proper funding?" Susan continued. "We'd sacrificed so much and only asked each guest for around $1,500. We talked to a few people who even promised to give us more to make our dream come true." Susan, clearly frustrated by what she sees as a lack of generosity by her friends, went on, "Our request for $1,500 for all other guests was not fucking out of the ordinary. Like, we made it clear if you couldn't contribute, you weren't invited to our exclusive wedding. It's once in a lifetime party." That's her fault, not the journalism.
Yeah.
When they realised they would not be able to afford the wedding, Susan's then partner suggested they elope to Las Vegas. But Susan laughed in the face of this idea. But now Susan has been left with no partner, no maid of honour, and has been blocked by all bridesmaids on social media who labelled her crazy.
Well, look. So the reason I thought this was something you'd mentioned before is this must be the epitome of lazy journalism, because I think this is a story that comes out every single year. Because I know that story from before, unless this is just deja vu on such a huge level on the podcast.
Or maybe there's a lot of entitled fuckers who think...
Yes, but I've heard this before, the exact same thing where, like, maybe not Susan, but another bride has gone, "Oh, we can't have our wedding because no one wants to pay."
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, look, I've been to weddings where it's like, you know, where the couple have been living together for a long time, so a traditional gift list of things that they may need for the house or whatever isn't a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Emma and I were moving into a new, bigger house, so our wedding list was like a Debenhams list of things we'd need for the house, like new, like...
Where is it from? Sorry, Debenhams?
Yes. Debenhams. They don't exist anymore, do they? So there's no point me saying it like that to get some fucking sponsorship. I might as well say fucking Rumbelows. Anyway, so we just put a list of like pans and glasses, and so we had like crystal glasses for like 40 quid each.
Yeah.
We didn't need them, but we never would have spent that on these beautiful glasses unless they were on a list. So that's what it was. We've still got some of them.
Yeah, but you didn't say to like people who would come to your wedding, if you don't buy us these gifts, you can fuck off. Did you?
I mean, we didn't say like even if like we just say if you don't buy us a gift, we wouldn't have uninvited someone who didn't buy us a gift at all. So to say if you don't stump up $1,500, you're not coming to our wedding. I think her fiance, her maid of honor, and all the bridesmaids have dodged a fucking bullet with this one.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't this, it would have been something else. I'm just like, oh, this is our dream wedding. I'll tell you what, either don't have your dream wedding and accept that not everybody can achieve all their dreams.
Yep.
Or wait until you can afford to pay for your own fucking dream wedding. I'm quite angry with this girl, and it's Susan. I don't even know who she is.
Yeah, well, so I'm surprised that she doesn't go by the term muz as well.
She probably does now.
Yeah. Oh, Fool Me Once, by the way, was that probably...
Fool Me Once, that's right. Yeah, no, look, if she did, like, she probably does go by Muz now, whereas if she hadn't been such a dick, she might have gone by Mrs.
But it's mad, isn't it? Well, there are people
don't
that
understand.
genuinely, in their own brain, think that's an acceptable way to carry on.
And like I said, 20 years ago when we got married, we felt almost apologetic in even putting a gift list down.
Yeah.
Rather than just, assuming that people would give you stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway. Right, Baz, I think I've had enough of those two entitled fuckers that nobody's ever heard of, and I'm going to move on to an entitled fucker who is very, very famous.
Okay, look, hit me.
Madonna calls out seated concert goer, then realises they're in a wheelchair.
Oh, dear.
So, Madonna was left backtracking and apologising at one of her latest concerts after berating a fan for sitting down, only to then discover they were in a wheelchair. Footage posted online showed the 65-year-old pausing to speak to the audience midway through a gig in Los Angeles, California. "What are you doing sitting down over there?" she shouted. That is a pretty good fucking Madonna impression, that, isn't it? I'll do it again. "What are you doing sitting down over there?" I don't know why I said it like that, but I'm going with it.
Can you do the Vogue thing while you're doing it as well?
She shouted. So, "What are you doing sitting down over there?" she shouted. "What are you doing sitting down?" The Holiday singer... I mean, of all her tracks to come up with for that.
The Holiday singer.
The Holiday with a capital H singer is how this journalist is describing Madonna. Apparently that's the best out of her 40-odd year career. That's the best they could come up with.
See, I'd have gone with Papa Don't Preach.
Yes, I'd have gone L'Isla Bonita. In fact, I might do, Baz. The L'Isla Bonita singer then made her way to the edge of the stage where she appeared to realise the fan she had singled out was a wheelchair user. What she said was, "Oh, okay, politically incorrect. Sorry about that," Madonna said. "I'm glad you're here." I just think that's fucking horrible. Well, I mean, for her to say, "Stand up," and then realise someone's in a wheelchair, how has her brain gone to... If that was me, right, I'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. If you're watching on the internet, because I know this is going to go viral, it's a genuine mistake, and I would love to offer you, like, come backstage and meet me and, do all that kind of stuff. I'm so, so sorry. That's such a silly mistake to make, innocent but silly. Something like that, yeah? But Madonna's gone, "Okay, politically incorrect. Sorry about that." I was like, to use the phrase politically incorrect in that situation, I think it's actually more offensive than calling out somebody in a wheelchair for not standing up.
We need to point out as well, along the lines of presidential candidates, like Madonna is like an ancient old woman now, right? Do you know what I mean?
65 years old.
Yeah, I mean, like
Madonna is.
She's a bit befuddled with stardom and various other things, like vitamin injections that she's had over the years. I think, like from what I've seen of her more recently, she might be a bit infirm. So, and obviously
her face is firm.
Well, but it's also
she looks like she's been ironed.
But it's also like in her defence, you and I, like, are much more junior ages, have been tried to be like outed by younger people on the internet. What are your pronouns? Like, so she's literally probably, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to anyway. She's probably drug-addled and really old. Doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. I mean, have you seen her performances in the last couple of years?
Yeah.
I mean, I for most of my life, I've been a massive Madonna fan in terms of like she'd be up there in my list of sort of top 5 women that I've kind of like maybe wanted to do things with, for want of a better term.
Okay.
Now I look at her and I go, oh my god, it's like she's become the ultimate granny, but still wearing stockings, and it's kind of jaded, the whole Madonna thing for me.
It's all gone a bit creepy, hasn't it, Baz?
Yes, and I think this is just lost in stardom and not understanding the way the world actually works, because you don't understand anything anymore.
Yeah, and like I say, I just think it's an understandable thing to glance down from stage and see somebody's not stood up and give them a bit of stick. I mean, to be fair, no one has to. We've been through this before on this podcast, Baz. I'm not a fan of forced fun, right?
No.
So somebody tells me to stand up, I'm not going to fucking stand up. Just because, like, I'll stand up if I want to.
Yes.
When I'm enjoying myself, you'll see from my face,
Yes.
right? Don't try and tell me to enjoy myself. So,
yes.
But to look down and see somebody who's sat down and to make the innocent mistake that this person's just not stood up enjoying themselves. But when you realise that they're actually in a wheelchair, to just go, oh, politically incorrect.
Yeah.
Like I say, I just think using the phrase politically incorrect is hugely offensive to this wheelchair user.
Completely
like
lost
say,
in stardom, that is.
Like I say, and that is all like, she's already kind of gone on the defensive of herself. Like I say, if my response to that would be, oh my God, can't believe, I'm
so
really
sorry.
sorry.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I didn't see from up here. Please come backstage. We'll meet you. I'm come. Apologise properly. And I probably would have done a bit of a joke. So like, oh, if you're watching on the internet, hello, millions of viewers, because this is going to go viral now, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Are you aware of the Scouse comedian Paul Smith?
Yes, absolutely.
So he's done that a few times, but people now go to concerts, or his like shows, knowing that he talks to people in the audience.
Yeah.
So there was a guy that was pretending to be blind that time.
Right,
completely fucking smashed him out of the park because he was obviously just bullshit. Because obviously he realised after a short while, he would have just starred that out, right?
Of course,
because he's abrasive and stuff like that, and if but like as you say, that's not her stick. Her stick should have been, oh no, I'm really sorry. But then but I also think, like people are begging you and I to use, oh, it's not politically correct, is it? Because then we look like fucking dicks, don't we?
Yeah, no, exactly. Just
PC gone mad. What are you on about?
Anyway, I've got loads of stories. We didn't have time for them all, but I got loads of stories for January, February, and March that we're going to bring into the review of the year.
Yes.
But they were the ones that I wanted to pull out. There was the fucking. I think there's a big thread of entitlement going through the 3 ones that I picked out, and maybe that's just me being bitter towards I just don't get this whole like entitled thing.
Well, in the news they used to go, and finally,
yes.
Like, should we end on something that's a bit more frivolous and a bit nicer?
I would love that to happen, Baz.
So, are you aware of Elmer the Mammoth?
No. Oh, yes.
Yes. This is one of my
in the books.
Well, no. So this is something that they found a mammoth in Alaska.
Okay.
And they realised that this mammoth had migrated from its home ground in sort of like North America, as I like to call it, but Canada, in the Yukon, and
Northern USA.
Yeah, sorry, Canadians. Geography's not my strong point. So they found this mammoth, which they realised had been hunted by the early humans.
Mm-hmm.
And it
wasn't Madonna, was it?
Yeah. If you could do it on that bombshell, that'd be perfect now. No. So it's the one thing because I was researching, googling for stories, and I wanted to find something nice. So they realised that this mammoth had migrated thousands of miles from its original home, following the because obviously it was a bit warm at the time, only to get slaughtered by humans for food. And I thought, that's not really a nice story. Why have you written that? Surely it collapsed in a sort of like a meadow of daisies. No, it was slaughtered for food. It was, obviously we as humans wiped out the mammoth. And I'd like to end my story just there on that.
And this was your light-hearted story at the end of the and finally, was it?
It kind of shows what a shit week it was for the news, to be honest.
Right, well, on that bombshell of Baz leading us down the garden path of this being a heartwarming story to end the episode with, and it being just about an animal being slaughtered. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks, Baz, for your input. So, thanks, Baz, for being here. Thanks for everything. And we will see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.
Clack, clack. Clack, clack.